welcome back to Coding Chamber. So last time we left off with all this cool, fun stuff. Right, we left off, we made our first program. And actually, I made a decision. I think I introduced functions far too early. And I'm going to stop using them. And in this tutorial, I'm not going to really use them. Mainly, they simplify things. They would be useful, and if you understand them, use them in this. Use them in place of my, what I'm about to do, but they're not necessary. A thing to note, you may have noticed that a print statement looks awfully like a, those look awfully similar, right? They have a word and then things, and you put things in them. I'm talking about, that was very unclear to you. You have these brackets, and then you pass things into the brackets. Those are not brackets, those are parentheses. No, I don't know what they're called. I forget the word. Anyway. They look awfully the same, and you're right, they're both functions. The print statement is a function. The only reason we call it a statement is because it's integrated into the language. And what that means is pretty much that when the dude that developed this language, and I know his name, I don't want to, I just don't remember it right now. When we made this, he made the print statement. He integrated that in to the language. So, instead of calling those functions, we call them statements. They're just things that are integrated into the language naturally. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to get input, output from the user. Sure, save it. You may be like, ooh, that seems complicated, but it's not. Trust me, it's fine. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, well, we're going to tell the user what's happening. So let's say you wake up in a dark dungeon. Right? So you've waken. That will print out first, and then you say, what do you want to do? Would you like around you a series of tunnels? You may already see where this is going. This is going to be a choose your own adventure. Around you, well, that's not. Around you is a series. Okay, you know what? I can't grammar today, so I'm just gonna around you. That doesn't. You know what? Here, you are surrounded by a series of tunnels. There we go. That sounds more right. Sorry, I get like weirded out sometimes by sentences, and then I have to change them because they don't seem grammatical. Sorry if you notice, like, my occasional slurping. My voice is kind of rough. I'm not used to this much talking. So we print, and we're going to do a final. This is like a lot. You can really do anything. This is just like my choose your own adventure. You could replace this by, you wake up in a hot chick's bed. You're like surrounded by just a bunch of, I don't know, do anything you want. So, would you like to go to the left? To the left or the right? And then you make a variable. So this choice, and this is going to be input. I think that should, you know what, give me a second, because I'm bad with Python. If you didn't notice, like, Python is not my native language. Right? Yeah, that's right, okay. And so then, we're going to have our first if-else statement. So, actually, here's a good thing to do. I'm going to do L-R. Right, so just tell the user you want to push L or R. So if choice equals L, well, I'm gonna print you encounter a mighty dragon. And else, right, there's only going to be really two options, and this system has flaws. For example, they could type like uppercase R and they would get sent, or uppercase L and they get sent to the right. It's not a perfect system. Once I talk more about if-else statements, this will become more clear. So, print, you fall into a pit and die. Right, this is not meant to be freaking next. No, Super Meat Boy. References, everybody. I'm popular. I'm a cool. So this may be very intimidating to you, even though it's like 50% print statements. But the one new thing we learned is the input statement. What that does is pretty much like, bro, give me some input. Like, give me something. Like, give me a little nugget of information. It's asking for that. So if we save this as the coolest RPG, it's clearly the coolest. And would you like to go left or right? I would like to go left. I encounter a mighty dragon, right? Or we can be like, you wake up in the dark dungeon. You are surrounded by a series of tunnels. Would you like to go left or right? I'm like, man, all right. You fall into a pit and die. Like, oh, okay. Right, so it's not a very exciting program, but it teaches you about user input. So that's what the input statement does. Here, let me open my favorite little friend, Paint. Because this is very, so it's like you got your dude right here, right? You need, and if you don't understand the value of input, then I feel like you've been living under a rock, because you got, like, what use is your program without input? So you got your little guy, he's tip-tapping away on his computer. And then, you need to get input from this guy. Like, right, so, like, some programs need no input. They need, say, from the user, right? They run off, God, this is like a block of it. I did not know that was a thing. Okay, I discovered something. Anyway, right, he's typing on his block computer. And usually, a lot of things have input. Like right now, I'm using a bunch of input. Microsoft is waiting for me to, click my left mouse button and scribble around. That's what input is, the use of input. Right? So we need input from the user to have a reactive and changing program. And user input is a very important thing. A lot of software is shaped around, providing this an experience for the user so it can somehow, in some way, simplify their life. So to do that, we need to have input. So that's what input does. Right? It asks the user, give me something. And we get it. We can also do this really simple thing. We're going to say print name, and then we say name input, and this is going to demonstrate a concept that's going to be weird and you're like, I never knew you could do that. Say your name is, what is this sorcery? This is a weird way of doing string stuff. So if we save over to cool RPG, the coolest RPG, I'm sorry. So we say name, my name in this case is Ross. Your name is Ross. Oh, how very intuitive of you, right? But we can also do something like this. Save, and shouldn't scream at me much. See, that is another way to do the same thing. You're very confused probably right now. You're like, what are you talking about? This is what's called string. Now I'm completely forgetting the word. It's pretty much when you combine strings, right? So we have the set piece of string. So no matter what you do, this print statement is always going to print out your name is. But it's also going to it's called string sparsing, sentence sparsing, You get the point. What this is you take something like this. So you take an existing string and you combined it with, say, another piece of string. Like I could do it like, it's a really weird thing to do, but like your name. Right now, if I run this, it's just gonna, like, no matter what I type in, it's can, right? It's, your name is your name. You're like, yeah. What sentence splicing, what this kind of plus sign does, it's like adding numbers. So you're adding strings. You're taking a string, you're taking another string, and then you're combining them. And so this is really useful when you want to, say, print out intuitive output. When you give intuitive, like, kind of changing output, when you want your output to react to input, you don't want to, like, have an if-else statement. You just want to throw their input in with the output. Right? So you want to take their input and just stick it onto the output, pretty much. So you don't have to have, like, a billion, or just, like, I don't know. You don't have, like, if-else. I don't know how else you would do it. It's a very useful concept. Use it. Don't have if-else statements. I don't know how you would have if-else statements. You want it to be like, if name equals Robert, print your name is Robert. Don't do this. This is stupid and inefficient. Right? Right here, this. Don't do this. Just do what I did above. And you may be very, like, you're going off track. Yes, I am. This was supposed to be a very simple episode, but it's a very long episode. What I'm saying, input, you can combine it with pre-existing strings, or you can combine, you can add strings. You'd be asking, can I subtract strings? No, not really. I don't know how. No, well, yes, but not in this way. Not in, like, the very simple way. Try it out. Actually, I don't know. I'm not good at Python. Rather, I'm sorry, I'm not good at Python. I'm not familiar as I should be with Python. And you'd be like, then why are you, teaching it? Because Python is a very simple language, and it is very good for beginners. So I thought, people beginning in programming, I think Python would be useful. So we have here's your name is plus a name. It's string sparsing. It's when you take an existing string or some other string and you add it to another string. So you don't. It's useful so you don't have to do this stupidity. So thank you for watching. This was a bit of a kind of off-track episode. In the next episode, I think we're going to be talking about if-else statements again, going a bit more in depth in them. Maybe talking about some other types of stuff. That's pretty much going to be the subject of the next episode. If you, of course, have any questions, ask me in the comments. If you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe. That would always be, a valid option. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.